record, before you even hear the clip, I don't think that Stephen A. Smith is the authority on MMA.
I was just saying that. Yep.
I know. I remember what he said about Cowboy, that he quit this, that, and the third, but he doesn't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, that's what I was just telling my co-host. I was getting at that. I was saying, like, I think he's missing the point. I don't think we're necessarily saying, like, the context of what he was saying was wrong. Because, sure, maybe Cowboy just didn't show up. Maybe he decided, you know what, I need to get the fuck out of here. But you don't go up there and dramatize it. You don't make a mockery of it. And it's not your place to say the things that you were saying, and it's more to me, it was more so of a respect thing. It's like, this isn't basketball. This isn't football where you could just make a quick comment and then, all these players, they could just come back the next day and prove you wrong. These fighters, they go through fucking hell. They lose. They feel like they lost it all, and it takes months to recover from a loss like that.
Dude,
fully.
To elaborate on that, like, now you just got me thinking. It's like, and show a little more respect. I know Cowboy got paid in that main event against Conor, but it's like that paycheck, maybe his career earnings is like 1 year for like the 50th best NBA player.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, man, the thing is like, man, we're playing with 4-ounce gloves on. There's no halftime. There's no, timeouts. So anything can happen in an MMA fight, and I seriously doubt that Stephen A. Smith has been in a fight, nor would he ever I don't think he would bust a grape in a food fight. So why is he the guy with zero? Why they pick a guy with zero MMA knowledge, background, or experience to be the guy?
Because the
Instead
truth,
of him, Ariel Helwani works for ESPN. Why they don't have him on there?
And even Ariel Helwani sided with him, and I think maybe it's because they're boys or they like each other.
I think it's over
Smith.
I mean, with all due respect to Ariel, I think he borderline pushes the button with what he can speak on as well. I think Ariel's a respected reporter in this sport, but he's just that, a reporter. I think sometimes he talks about fighters' mentality and stuff like that, and it's just like, you've never been in the cage. Like, from my perspective, I feel like Ariel, it's I don't know. I can't really go too into it because the politics of this game, but I just feel like guys like Ariel, guys like Stephen A., they kind of need a little bit more respect for the sport. They watch plenty of sports, so they're accustomed to this.
At least Ariel knows fighters, talks to fighters, interviews fighters.
Yeah.
Like, he knows, he may not have never done it, but he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
He's probably, I don't know if he's ever been punched in the face or been choked out or armbarred or, whatever, kicked in the body. But he's been around it enough, talked to enough fighters, got their opinion on stuff. And, so I think that he's a way better option than Stephen A. Smith.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure. I just do feel like sometimes when I'm watching his show, he can say things that I can understand why fighters would be upset with him, just because the way it comes off. Maybe it wasn't your intention to say that, but it can come off a certain way, and fighters are sensitive.
Yeah.
They have to be,
Absolutely.
You guys want to hear the clip finally? Can I play this thing?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, this is Stephen A. Smith following UFC 246, January 18th. All right, and we'll go through the story. Here we go.
We haven't learned a damn thing about Conor McGregor based off of this fight.
Really?
Because who were you? Listen, the man did not get hit other than one kick to the arm. That's it. He didn't. Listen, I have gotten hit that much in the last week, okay? And I don't fight. Come on, y'all. The fact of the matter is we don't know, and we know that Conor McGregor is a champion. We know he's a great fighter. We know that he's box office. He's phenomenal for the sport. We're all happy he won. If you love this sport, you got to be happy that Conor McGregor won. But you didn't learn anything from tonight's fight because Cowboy Cerrone just didn't show up. I could have ran for 40 seconds.
I disagree. We learned he rises to the occasion. We learned he could put Cowboy away. We learned that he can land a head kick. We learned that he could beat him down.
Okay.
We learned that this guy performs when the lights are on him. But we already knew that. But we learned that he was focused, and we saw it. I've been aware of his training. He was he was in tip-top shape for this. And he was treating this like this is a potential resurrection of his career. Nurmagomedov humiliated. Floyd Mayweather humiliated him. So there's 2 humiliating losses in a row. This was his return, and it was a pretty significant return.
I could stand corrected on that.
God, he could swallow his ego a little. But then Cowboy Cerrone, and this is with and Eric, if you got to go, let me know. Are you cool playing the gossip game?
Yeah, do it.
All right, here's Cowboy Cerrone with Brett Okamoto. Again, all this footage, or excuse me, audio is courtesy of ESPN.
It's hard to prepare for something like that and then make it 40 seconds, bro. That's tough. That's a kick to the dick. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, this is the first time I've talked to you since that fight. And, you know, one of the big questions was like, you know, the Cowboy showing up to the big fight, all that, like in the locker room when you got to T-Mobile and you're fighting Conor McGregor, did you feel good before the fight started?
No. I didn't. Donald showed up. Cowboy wasn't there. Wrong guy showed up. Couldn't get going. Couldn't get excited. Couldn't get fired up. Didn't want to be there. Biggest fight. All the attention. My time to shine. I didn't want to be there. It was crazy, man. And I don't know why. I don't know how. I don't know how to change that. But it sucks, man. Sometimes I show up there, I'm ready. I'm fired up, and I'm ready to go. Sometimes I get there, and I'm like, man, I don't even want to be here. So, don't know.
All right. I mean, he's just saying he wasn't there mentally. But to say that he gave up or he folded, I think's very unfair.
Just to point out one.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry about that. Just to point out one thing. When he fought Al Iaquinta, he said the same thing. He said in the first round he couldn't get the gears going. He just wasn't there. Got hit a couple times. He survived the first round, and he came out better the second, and he ended up winning the whole fight. So, you know, just because he didn't show up in that moment doesn't mean he wasn't going to eventually turn on in the fight. Because sometimes it takes a couple of hits to wake up, you know.
And man, you know, I know exactly what Cowboy's talking about. That's happened to me before. When I fought Khalil Roundtree, you know, it was, you know, I've always prided myself in showing up, that I have the ability to show up in the biggest occasions, you know, in the biggest moments. You know, the national championship when I was in college is the best game of football I think I ever played in my life. And but when I fought Khalil Roundtree, you know, it was the fight. It wasn't the co-main. It was the fight before the co-main. It's the highest I've ever fought on a card. I've been a main event, but it was a pay-per-view title fight kind of thing in Atlanta, which is, you know, 2 hours from where I live. And, you know, just walking out to the cage, you know, I was just like, man, I don't, the whole day actually, I was like, man, I don't want to do this. I don't feel like being here. It's not like a scared thing or anything like that. But, you know, luckily I just got a chin, so he wasn't able to finish me. You know, when I fought Tim Williams, I felt like that. You know, I was like, man, I ain't even trying to do this shit right now. And then, but, you know, same thing like the Al Iaquinta fight. You know, I got beat up the first round and then, you know, ended up knocking him out in the third. So, man, you know, things like that just happen, man. For whatever.
But you
reason.
didn't quit, right? And Cowboy didn't quit, right? And nobody gave up.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, but, you know, shit goes bad. You know, if you're not like 100%, even when you are 100%, you know, even if Conor McGregor would just landed a straight left and knocked him out, man, you know, I mean, what can you do about that? You know?
Yeah. That's like saying we never.
His orbital. You know, it's not. He didn't. I don't think he quit, man. Like Conor broke his face. You know.
Yeah.
I don't want to play the whole thing, but the clip says it started with the sprawl. It started when Conor, when Conor leaped in and Cowboy duck under and his head hit his hip. He said it was fuzzy. And then all of a sudden this like next generation, new type of shoulder punches come in. And it was just an onslaught. But it's like, he didn't quit.
So,
that's what pisses me off.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, he had a bad night, you know, bad day at the office, you know.
Yeah.
But, you know, a bad day at the office in MMA is a little bit different than a bad day in the office in basketball. If LeBron James only shoots, you know, has like 14 points in a game, they're gonna say that's a terrible night. You know, if Cowboy or any fighter has a bad night, you know, they get knocked out and finished, you know, in 40 seconds. And It's not like a lack of preparation. It's not, you know, man. There's a lot of like stress. You know, you have to be a special kind of dumbass to even want to go in there and fight somebody in the first place. You know, so.
Yep.
Stephen A. Smith, that's what I'm saying. Like the ones who don't compete, they say that stupid shit because they've never competed, they've never had a bad day, they've never, you know, been punched in the face.
Easy.
You know, Cowboy, man, he's got the most wins in the UFC.
I
You know what I'm saying?
dude.
The guy is not a quitter.
I
You
know.
know, so whatever. That shit right there makes me kind of mad.
But this is what made me more mad, man. Ariel and DC, they're doing a show for each other. And I give Ariel and DC credit. They're rolling with each other. They're good co-hosts. They're smooth. They're doing their thing. But they're dead wrong.
Stephen A. Smith is owed an apology from everyone in the fight community, right? I know he said quit, and Donald didn't imply quit, but it was pretty much the same thing. Donald Cerrone said once again he did not show up, and Stephen A. essentially was saying the same thing, and everyone lambasted him and told him to get the heck out. Do you not agree with me that Stephen A. Smith is owed an apology?
Well, I think that he was right.
There you go. Now we have a fighter, a UFC former champion, and Daniel Cormier agreeing with Helwani. That's what drives me nuts.
Well, the same thing. Daniel Cormier said the same thing. Like whenever he fought John Jones, he said he didn't, you know, didn't show up and stuff like that. So him as a fighter, a lifelong competitor, wrestler, like he of all people should know what's up. So no. Stephen A. Smith owes Donald Cerrone an apology. Don't no one owes Stephen A. shit.